This is NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
Now to new details in that deadly Amtrak train derailment in Washington state. The NTSB revealing the train was traveling 50 miles over the speed limit before it jumped the tracks, killing at least 3 people. And while safety technology known as positive train control was installed, it wasn't yet operational. We've got it all covered, beginning with NBC's Gotti Schwartz. Gotti, good evening.
Good evening, Lester. The NTSB now saying the preliminary results show that the engineer may not have pulled the brake before going into this curve and that there may have been another member of the crew inside the cabin with him. Now the question is, was that engineer distracted? Through unrelenting rain, crews working non-stop to clear massive passenger cars after a crash that sent hundreds of tons of train and steel flying through the air. One moment, Del Desart was sitting in his seat. The next, everything was moving, and he grabbed a table to hold on.
So many emotions flash through your mind to where am I going to make it? And then that's the last thing I remember.
79-year-old Charlie Hebner, a train enthusiast, excited to be on board the inaugural run of Amtrak 501. Now he and his wife Beverly are trying to keep spirits high.
Count your blessings. Yep. Try to live day to day.
I saw the train hanging off.
Daniel Konzelman was driving by. As an Eagle Scout, he immediately rushed to help.
You pulled more than a dozen people to safety. I don't know, if it wasn't me, somebody else would have been there to do it. So I was just thankful that I got to be there helping.
Nearly 100 people were taken to hospitals. 3 were killed in the crash, including 35-year-old Zach Will Hoyt and Jim Hamry, rail aficionados excited to be on a maiden run.
That has to be the saving grace, is that they were doing what they had loved and celebrating it.
Now more questions over whether the train should have had a safety mechanism called positive train control that was already installed on the tracks and the train, but not set to be implemented until next year.
It looks like, in our preliminary analysis, that the emergency brake was automatically activated when the accident was occurring, rather than being initiated by the engineer.
The NTSB just beginning to investigate what went wrong and how it should have been prevented. Gotti Schwartz, NBC News, DuPont, Washington.
This is Tom Costello. Among the questions for federal investigators tonight, did the engineer know the track he was on? Had he done the required test run before Monday to familiarize himself with the curves and posted speed limits? Did something or someone distract him at the very moment he needed to slow the train from 80 down to 30? Veteran engineers say he would have needed a quarter mile to slow an Amtrak train before the curve.
You got to slow down slowly, otherwise you're going to have a lot of in-train forces and you can jackknife your train.
The train's 2 black boxes like this one should tell investigators if and when the engineer hit the brakes.
All the engineer can do is wait for the train to stop.
Safety experts say positive train control may have prevented the crash by automatically applying the brakes when the train failed to slow down.
I have no control over the train at this point. The train will come to a stop.
Congress first ordered railroads to install PTC 10 years ago, but today only 37% of freight lines and 23% of passenger lines have done it. Congress has extended the deadline to 2018 and now possibly 2020 as railroads have complained about the cost of installing the safety upgrade.
At the end of the day, crashes like this one and the dozens that have happened before cost even more when it comes to the toll in human lives and in dollars.
Among the accidents where speed played a role, 25 dead in Chatsworth, California, 4 dead in the Bronx, 8 dead in Philadelphia, and 1 dead in Hoboken. Immediately after yesterday's crash, President Trump tweeted all the more reason to start fixing infrastructure in the country. But in fact, his budget calls for cutting railroad spending by 43%. Lester?
Tom Costello, thank you.